Cooking with Shayda. I'm your host, and this is where I teach you how to make healthy plant-based meals that are salt, oil, and sugar-free. For today's episode, we are making a delicious smoky sweet potato corn chowder that is just oh so good, and it's going to hit the spot on those cold winter nights. We've got the sweet potatoes, we've got corn, we've got carrots, we've got celery, onions, everything's going. And the best part is we're making it in the Instant Pot. But if you want to make this on the stovetop, you certainly can go ahead and make that. But before we get started, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please make sure to subscribe, ring that bell so that you will be notified when a new video comes out. So if you guys are ready, we're going to go ahead and get started. There's really not much to do if you prep everything ahead of time. So I've got Hannah or white sweet potato, depending on where you're at. They'll either call it white sweet potato or they'll call it Hannah sweet potatoes. I just chopped those up. You're going to put those in there. We've got chopped carrots. That's going in. I've got chopped onions. That's going in. And I didn't even chop these up really fine. I just kind of gave them a rough chop so that when I blend it at the end, it'll be a lot easier. You've got celery that's going in here. You've got a bell pepper that's going in here. I love these kind of soups because they're so easy to make. You've got corn, and these were frozen, or they're still frozen in fact. So you can use fresh corn, canned corn, or frozen corn. Then we're going to add our garlic. And we're going to go ahead and add all of our spices. Now, to get the recipe for this, it's on my website at healthycookingwithshayda.com. So please make sure to go there to get the recipe. Next, we are going to be adding vegetable broth. You want to make sure that the vegetable broth that you're using is oil-free. So I'm using Pacific vegetable broth, the low sodium. It does have a little bit of sodium. But it is oil-free. Now, if you don't want to use vegetable broth, you certainly can make your own vegetable broth, or you can definitely use water. Either way, it's perfectly fine. But using vegetable broth does add a lot more flavor to it, and especially for those of you that make your own vegetable broth. I wish I had time to make it. I really don't. I know it's not hard to make. It's relatively easy to make. But with some things, I guess I'm just lazy and I'm not making it. So now we're going to put the lid on. Make sure that the vent is sealed. Go to manual. And it's already set on 10 minutes, and that's really it. How hard was that? I mean, you can come home on a busy night, throw this together, and it'll be ready in no time. When you hear that beep, that means that it's getting ready to start warming up. It'll come to pressure, and then what we're going to do is we're going to let the pressure come down for about 10-15 minutes, and then I'll release the valve and open it up, and then I'll show you what happens next to this delicious stew. So stay tuned. So it's been over 10 minutes, and I went ahead after the 10 minutes and I released the pressure. So now let's open it up. But when you open this, be very careful when removing the lid because it's going to be really hot. So now we are going to add some plant milk to this. Now I'm using soy, but you could use soy, you could use almond, you could use oat, you could use really any plant milk that you like. Okay, now that you've got this in here, I have my Vitamix immersion blender. This is my favorite one. I've gone through I don't know how many immersion blenders, like Cuisinart, all the other ones, and this has by far surpassed any of them. I got this on Black Friday when they were all on sale, so I'll post a link to it. Keep an eye out for it for Black Sale holidays, and we're going to go ahead and blend this baby up right in. Now, if you don't have an immersion blender, you can take, you know, a couple of cups at a time and blend it in your blender. That's another way of doing it, but invest in one of these. It saves so much time and it's so much easier. There we go. Okay, I think this is ready. Now, how easy was that, guys? Seriously, invest in one of these if you don't already have one. Make sure to give it a good whirl and just make sure that everything has gone through. Now, we are going to add some frozen corn to this. It's about a cup and a half of corn, because you want some of this corn when you're having this delicious soup. You want to bite into it. So we're going to leave this in here and let it cook for another 30 minutes or so, and then we'll come back and we'll show you the finished product. I think our smoky sweet potato corn chowder is ready. Now, one thing that I forgot to tell you guys was what kind of spices I use, and I apologize for that. So I'm using for this recipe, we're using cumin, we're using smoked paprika, we are using a salt substitute, which I like Benson's Table Tasty, but you're welcome to use any salt substitute that you like. I'm also using black pepper. Those were the spices that I used in this recipe, but you can find the full recipe on my website at healthycookingwithshayda.com. So let's pour these in here, and then we can take a little taste test. And I really hope you guys try this soup because it's really that good. And I think what I love about it is having the whole corn in this, in this soup, so you can taste it as with every delicious spoonful that you take. We're going to dress this. You can take parsley, cilantro, green onions, whatever you like. You can put it on top. I've got fresh parsley here to try, but let's taste the soup and see how it is. Might be a little bit hot. I love the soup. I love it. Now, you guys may be wondering what these are here sitting next to me. These are super cubes. This is how I go ahead and freeze my soup, because as you can see, when I make it in the Instant Pot, it makes an awful lot. This is 2 cups each. And this one is for 1 cup each. Now, these are all made out of silicone, so it's perfect. You go ahead, when this cools down, you go ahead and you pour it in here. Put the cover on and you put this in your freezer. Once you've done that overnight, once it's frozen, then you can easily, because it's silicone, pop these out, put it in your Ziploc freezer bag and store it in your freezer. So that way, whenever you need some hot soup, you can just go ahead and defrost it. So I hope you've enjoyed watching another episode of Healthy Cooking with Shayda. Stay tuned for the next episode, because you know what goes great with this soup? Cornbread, and that recipe will be coming up. So remember, guys, it's one bite at a time, one meal at a time, and we will see you soon.